to order our Plan Commission meeting for this evening. Beginning at 6:45. Madam Clerk, could you call the roll, please?
Chairman Merrick,
Present.
Supervisor Fisher,
Here.
Dan Bushwell. I'm
Here.
Robert Fisher, Robert Flanagan,
Is gone this evening.
Alan White,
Present.
and Robert Sigler,
Here.
and Ken Lewin.
Aye. Here. Also present is Attorney Macy and Planner Rybarczyk. Madam Clerk, have we met all the requirements of the open meetings law?
Yes, we have.
And we'll move on to citizens' comments.
Angie South 51, West 25375, Glendale Road, Town of Waukesha. Hasn't been mentioned, I didn't see it in the paperwork tonight for consideration, but we are working on a plan of operation change for Five Diamonds. And it hasn't been mentioned that the zoning, of course, is not done at the county. And so the conditional use permit still rules. And I'm not sure that that was followed last year, and I don't know what everybody's assumption is this year, and Attorney Macy, of course, wasn't here last year, but I think it's important for everybody to recognize that the conditional use permit and those original conditions still apply. There was plans to change that through a petition that the petitioner brought forward in September of 2012. They withdrew their petition to change that conditional use permit at that time, so it is still the same. So as people discuss this tonight, I think it's important to recognize that this will be a future issue when that zoning, when and if that zoning is approved, but the conditional use permit as it stands is still in place and all the requirements that are required by that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Going once?
My name is Harry Butler. I live at W230S3857 Milky Way Road, Town of Waukesha. Here to comment on the Five Diamonds prospective changes to their operating. A few years ago when there was an agreement made about keeping and being sensitive to the rural nature of the town of Waukesha. And because of that, certain conditions as far as hours of use and hours of lights and pledge for a requirement for no loudspeakers, no drinking, all these were stipulated as a condition of this. And now, 3 years later, we're here backing off of those, or proposing to back off. I think that's, I just want to go on record as being against that. I think that the original commitments should be honored.
Thank you.
Sandy Hamm, West 230, South 3827, Milky Way Road. Quote, "There's no beer going to be served at this facility, no booze. I want to make that clear right away." That's from Jim Maloney, engineer for Five Diamonds, with Tom Kelnick at a September 2010 public hearing. Referring to the hours of operation at a March 10th, 2011 Plan Commission meeting, Commissioner Buchholz says, "And if these are the hours here, I have a problem with 10:30 as well." Kelnick says, "Because it's not going to have lights, you just said." And Buchholz says, "With or without lights, I have a problem with 10:30. He also had a problem on Sundays with the way it was going to be set up. Quote, "And again, lighting, hours of operation, and noise from the PA. I don't want to sit on a summer night and listen to somebody announcing a ball game. That's what I've got to say." It was John Merrick commenting to Kelnick at the September 2010. In the beginning, a modicum of protection was offered to the other landowners and residents, but then Five Diamonds did just as they pleased, and enforcement was non-existent. Five Diamonds and Mr. Kelnick have nickel and dimed their way along, sloughing off various restrictions over the months. For example, from no fundraisers with sound amplification to only a few months ago, the board granting them 3 per year, to now wanting no limitation at all on fundraisers. Now we're at the point where tonight we're going to be asked to undo all the concessions and protections afforded the community. You are being asked to grant Five Diamonds no limitations on hours for grounds maintenance, no limitations on tobacco, no limitations on sound amplification, etc., etc. Then there is the alcohol, beer, and wine. Kelnick and Company have always maintained that would never happen. And here we are with them asking to sell alcohol. You have 3 choices. Approve all the requests by Five Diamonds, approve their requests with changes, we could be here all night discussing that, or deny the requests by Five Diamonds. I think you all know the right thing to do. I hope you'll find a way to get there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Wayne Krzyzanowski, West 254, South 4360, in Oak Lane. The town is dying right before our eyes. The freedom for semi-rural living is evaporating in the name of progress. The children will be taught a value system of how to party properly without regard for their neighbor or fellow man. The agreements made to establish a business on grounds of trusting the words put on paper means nothing. The intent was always different from the plans being presented. Will our trusted elected town board wake up to these realities, or will you allow a cancer to keep spreading because you too have shallow words? The fight is not against the consumption of alcohol, but the agreements put forth disingenuously to get your foot in the door and then blast it open and do whatever you want. If a parent brings their child to play baseball for their 2-hour time slot and can't refrain from having alcohol, maybe this person's attention needs to be directed to Alcoholics Anonymous rather than a con job of family time at a Little League game. Just remember, it's all for the children.
Thank you.
Janet Glade, South 31, West 26111, Sunset Drive. But it's for the children. This is what the owners, Pride and the Five Diamonds, frequently wanted ever more concessions from the town board. They helped formulate and sign the conditional use permit outlining the plan of operation for the complex, but they continuously violated these conditions. Now they are back before the board asking again for more concessions, and I'm sure we will again here, but it's for the children. Tell us how having the complex open every night until 11, excuse me, with the bright lights shining will be for the children. Tell us how allowing tobacco use on the grounds will be for the children. We have all heard about the dangers of secondhand smoke. Tell us how allowing the consumption of alcohol would be for the children. Is having a beer a problem? Absolutely not. The problem is, it is not allowed at this facility. The facility follows the Waukesha School District rules for children's sports activities. Unless the owners are contemplating taking the complex in a completely different direction, then these rules should continue to be followed. These changes to the conditional use permit, alcohol, smoking, and increased hours are not needed for the successful operation of this complex as the owners have proven. These changes should not be agreed upon by the Planning Commission or the board. Not agreeing to these changes would truly be for the children.
Thank you. Anybody else? And we'll move on.